The 1964 assassination attempt on Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's first president, marks one of the most dramatic episodes in the nation's history. This pivotal event underscores the intense political turbulence of post-independence Ghana and the complexities of leadership during the early years of a newly liberated Africa. This account revisits the incident, its broader context, and its aftermath in clear and accessible language. In 1957, Ghana made history as the first African nation to achieve independence from colonial rule, a feat that positioned Kwame Nkrumah as a beacon of African liberation. Nkrumah envisioned a united, self-reliant Africa and championed by Pan-Africanism, inspiring many across the continent. However, his leadership style and policies sparked both admiration and dissent. By 1964, Ghana was navigating significant political and economic struggles. The young nation faced ideological divisions, mounting economic pressures, and growing resistance to Nkrumah's increasingly authoritarian governance. These tensions created an atmosphere ripe for political unrest. Despite internal strife, Nkrumah's global influence remained significant. He actively opposed Western interference in African affairs and supported liberation movements across the continent. However, his stance alienated powerful foreign interests and domestic opponents who viewed his policies as radical or threatening. On January 2nd, 1964, Nkrumah narrowly survived an assassination attempt at Flagstaff House, the presidential residence in Accra. As he walked from his office to his car, Constable Amache, a police officer on his security detail, approached and fired at him. The incidents quickly turned chaotic. Chief Superintendent Salifu Dagati, a dedicated and courageous officer, shielded Nkrumah, placing himself between the president and the assailant. Tragically, Dagati was fatally shot, sacrificing his life to save Nkrumah. The president escaped unharmed but was deeply shaken by the attack. The attempt on Nkrumah's life was not an isolated incident. It was part of a broader pattern of plots and threats that had plagued his presidency. Nkrumah's leadership had faced numerous challenges, including earlier attempts on his life. In August 1962, an assassination attempt in Kurungugu involving a bomb thrown at his convoy. The explosion killed several bystanders, injured many others, and left Nkrumah with minor wounds. A month later, another bomb detonated near the presidential palace, injuring several individuals. These repeated attacks underscored the intense hostility Nkrumah faced from both domestic adversaries and external forces opposed to his policies. The motives for the assassination's attempts were deeply rooted in political, economic, and ideological divides of the era. Domestically, opposition to Nkrumah's leadership was growing. By 1964, Ghana had become a one-party state under the Convention's People's Party. Critics accused Nkrumah of suppressing democracy, stifling dissent, and consolidating power to an alarming degree. Economically, Nkrumah's ambitious projects, such as the construction of the Akosombo Dam, strained the national budget. His socialist policies, which emphasized state control and reduced dependency on foreign powers, alienated certain business interests and foreign governments. On the international stage, Nkrumah's alignment with socialist states during the Cold War and his vocal criticism of neocolonialism put him at odds with Western nations. His support for African liberation movements further polarized opinion, painting him as a hero to some and a threat to others. The assassination attempt left a profound mark on Nkrumah and Ghana. For Nkrumah, it confirmed his suspicions of widespread conspiracies against him, both within and outside Ghana. He became increasingly paranoid, adopting stricter security measures and isolating himself from both allies and citizens. The government's response to the attack was swift and uncompromising. Authorities cracked down on opposition figures and perceived dissenters, leading to numerous arrests and an atmosphere of fear. This repression deepened divisions within the country and distanced Nkrumah from the public. On a personal level, the loss of Salifu Dagati had a lasting impact on Nkrumah. Dagati's sacrifice highlighted the loyalty of some within his administration, even as others plotted against him. The events of January 2nd, 1964 remain a stark reminder of the challenges faced by leaders navigating the complexities of post-colonial governance. Nkrumah's vision for a united Africa continues to inspire, but the opposition he encountered and the methods he employed reflect the intricacies of leadership during a transformative period in history. Although Nkrumah survived the assassination attempt, his presidency was short-lived. In 1966, he was overthrown in a military coup while abroad in Vietnam and China. The coup marked the end of his tenure and ushered Ghana into a new and uncertain chapter. Today, Nkrumah is remembered as both a visionary leader and a flawed statesman. The 1964 assassination attempt and other plots against him highlight the sacrifices and dangers inherent in the struggle for independence and self-determination. These events also underscore the importance of unity, resilience, and dialogue in addressing adversity, lessons that remain relevant for leaders and citizens alike.